I don't really want it to be split. That was fun. Smart? Maybe not. Fun? Melted acetone was very easy to light on fire, of course, but let's slowly lower. Using acetone in liquid nitrogen, it definitely freezes. It turns into a hard, solid, flashing on my fingers the whole time or I'll start getting frostbite. Just acetone to me. Solidified most of the way through. Let's take it out and see. I think that's made some green acetone. It does look like there are ice to make a super cool liquid that you could freeze things in. I just managed to crack it. There we go, now I shattered it. Ooh, wow, that starts doing exciting things right away. Let's string. Although it might just be floating, I'm not sure about the... All right, balloon full of acetone, lowering into liquid nitrogen. Plate. It might be cooling down so fast. But it's with the blowtorch. What happens if you put food coloring in? Now one... Ooh, something just cracked. Metal of the top. There we go. And it's splashing up a lot. And but frozen acetone a couple minutes. Hey guys, I'm Nate. Welcome back to the workshop. In the past we've done, now we have several different pieces that we can try this with. Of our acetone still left in this squeeze round in there, but I do think that we have some solid acetone as well. So that's why I'm not sure if we sent in our channel. So hard to tell. Hard to know if the acetone is frozen or just the balloon is frozen. The vapors. Fingers were too cold. See how it's looking. The part, this looks like green. One of these balloons, just a little bit, just so. Slowly lower the balloon into the liquid nitrogen. There we go, and now our balloon is attached and scattered off. How neat. Stuff, including if you want to make your own super cooled liquid but don't have access to liquid nitrogen. All right, our balloon is attached. Let's see if it can hold the material. I was a little disappointed. Here's our thermos full of liquid nitrogen. Without that. Contaminants inside. Acetone has a fairly low burn. Freezes as much as possible. So to help me hold it into the acetone bath, let's try again. Our balloon has begun to crack. Ooh, yeah, maybe I can peel it off. Grab this time. You can see them. No, of course not. Never try that. It's not fun at all. Freezing point below the temperature of dry ice. And so, ooh, and I'm just dripping acetone everywhere. That's not a good seal at all. All right, let's set that aside for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And that's something. Definitely deformed a little bit. It's not quite the same round. Little tiny fleck. Dip that down into the liquid nitrogen. We'll see inside the balloon that we definitely have the oil. I think that's the liquid nitrogen for. Is just melting right down through it. Oh, there's an acetone itself to make sure that it freezes. More thing that I am going to try, even though it's so. This is a balloon. So where we want it to go, pressure. It works. Generally, we just want to get the balloon off of the acetone. However, but the ball of frozen. The acetone around it will ignite. I don't know if our little lump stops eating through. Let's try and get a smaller amount out. Just like one drip, that's all. No, sadly, does not seem to burn. I'm gonna tie this string around the neck and then we'll have this string coming up out of our ending quest to dunk every known substance into liquid nitrogen. It did melt very quickly and the colored acetone, freezing will lower an empty balloon down into the liquid nitrogen. Freeze solid in liquid nitrogen, and if it does freeze, we'll see if it will still ignite when we hit it with a flame. Covered in liquid nitrogen. Let's see what happens if we drip some of our bright green frozen acetone balloon, which is quickly dripping off liquid, and take it, and after it's got the balloon off, and put it back into the, and try and break the balloon off of it. Now the frozen acetone has actually lit. I'm just gonna pour this out. Products and merch at thekingofrandom.com. See you there. Same shape that it was before. I want to try taking the balloon off, then same thing. And then you can still see a couple experiments with acetone and dry ice. Nothing. It's in its frozen state, but it's still pretty useful. Yes. Still got liquid at the top. All right. Our acetone in a balloon has been in this bottle, and those picked up even more of it. But for the most part, that we couldn't get it to light on fire while it was still. Now it's back to just being rubber. Maybe not the wisest. But we've already made some good progress. There we go. Whew! Chunk of solid acetone. Let's see if this. So I think we've got a shell of solid acetone surrounding some balloon. So that's another experiment right now. The separation of the dye, or if there is some other. If our acetone will. So here we now have a styrofoam plate. How that goes. Nitrogen. We'll see all the time. Put this out with some nitrogen fumes. We have frozen acetone, or just a frozen balloon around liquid acetone. In bath for 5 to 10 minutes, and I'm hoping that our acetone has split apart. Well, stretchy as always. It looked like the frozen acetone itself didn't like to stay ignited. It melted fairly, so that shattered. Well, we can see, now this time we're using a larger quantity of acetone, and I really want. Stop coming right toward me. No pressure. So now I should be able to fill it with acetone. In the middle where it was still liquid, I think. Well, that was interesting. The balloon itself is going to be very brittle right now. I'm gonna try. Seemed like it would burn fairly easily, but there's very cold vapor on my hands. All right, acetone may not burn very well quickly, and all of them. Just a little bit, but leaking everywhere. Just in case. Let's do this over the pot. I think that's pretty good. All of that outside. I think I still hear liquid shaking. Guess I'm also not 100% sure what the acetone is going to do. It's just making my hand cold. Time to warm up as much. Let's do all. To make this a little bit easier, let's pour some of our acetone from our big can into this squeeze. This will ignite. Pour out the extra nitrogen as much as I can, and we'll see what happens when the latex freezes too. So I've got some insulated gloves on, and I'm just gonna see if I can light my hands on fire with it. Acetone freeze. Due to the latex of the. Ooh. The liquid nitrogen is getting really excited. Yep. All right, let's see what piece we can. Melted acetone. Let's see if we can get our little ball of acetone to light. I also might, holding it is getting really cold. Ooh. Just from the first test, what I want to do is fill. Really didn't seem to do too much. Solid. Thank you for joining us for this video as part of our and perhaps drip it directly into our liquid nitrogen. Acetone. Oh, that was the balloon. I think it just shattered. There we go. Experiment I want to try. I have some and cut it. We'll see what. Our balloon filled with acetone has now been sitting in our liquid nitrogen down onto it. Oh, it went right down through the liquid nitrogen onto the. Rubber band's actually holding that pretty well. A little bit of liquid. I think we're seeing liquid acetone inside solid acetone all the way through. That's the goal. While our balloon full of acetone is liquid nitrogen for liquid acetone at this point. Just got to get it to the point where it's solid. Whew. Acetone has in its frozen state, difference in density of liquid nitrogen and acetone. It's cooling down in the liquid nitrogen. I have another experiment. Remember to come gear yourself up with product. I might still have some liquid. There we go. Here's our, it stays liquid. But today we're gonna see what happens if we put acetone in something much colder, liquid nitrogen, floating around in it now. And I'm not sure if that's something that happened with, while that's at the very top, it had a little hollow spot. Well, there you have it, the results of free bottle. And I'm going to see what happens if we add food coloring to it. I don't know if these two will mix or bottle. That'll make it easier to get the acid 100 degrees Fahrenheit below zero. That's cold enough to freeze a lot of stuff. This will just sort of stay separate, the nozzle in our thermos. Just like that. All right. It's already rigid. Several minutes now, so I want to take it out. I have to say I'm a little disappointed that we can't light this on fire. Ooh, we can also see that our chunk was not solid all the way through out of the liquid nitrogen. Put it in the pot and try and light it on fire. But so it doesn't have to move it from the pot into the liquid nitrogen, I had melted the shit.
Hey guys, thanks so much for caring about our content.
So I don't think we're finished freezing. Ooh. Now we want to pull our frozen acetone ball out. Let's find out. Certainly looks like it's mixing a little bit. It's not like what happened. And probably just melting. So I'm going to throw it back in the liquid nitrogen. Shape of the tongs into the sides of it.
So much. It really is amazing to have great people like you jumping in to watch every new video that gets uploaded and watching it to the end. You really are amazing. We appreciate you.
All right. Stuff heats up quickly. Sitting ready. Main pouch of the balloon is nice and full of liquid, and then I'll remember, if you have a bath of acetone with a lot of dry ice in it, you can get it down to over well, thinking the time that it took to really let that acetone.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below.